Now, in one of the recent videos, I don't even remember which one, but I had used a mechanical pencil to add some metallic shine to something. And Nikki had asked about, you know, the I guess the reasoning, if I remember right, something basically about the reasoning behind the choice of that and what type of lead did it use and all of that. So I answered that there, but never one to let an opportunity go by to make a video. I thought I'd do a vlog entry about the subject. So what I've got here are my three primary tools when it comes to graphite. I mean, that's really what we're talking about is graphite. The lead that I tend to use, and I know it's not lead, but that's what we called them when I was a kid, and I still call it lead. The lead that I tend to use is HB type, but I don't really like go out of my way to find that unless it's just a very soft lead, which I don't like working with. It works fine. If I see that it has HB on the label, I go with that. But those really soft pencils that almost like they're made of rubber, those don't work as well for these purposes. But what you can use them for is like you've got, let's say, a piece of this door here that I had used in another video, and if I want to add some metallic shine, like the paint has chipped away, but you've seen that where an edge is so worn that it keeps the metal polished and shiny. Well, you can take something with some graphite like this and just do like that, and in certain lights it doesn't shine at all. It's just kind of dull looking, but in other lights it shines like metal. So it works really good, and you can use this to do some fine chipping like that, just kind of doing some pointillism along there like that. It gives really fine chipping. When I built aircraft, this was pretty much all I used for chipping in the cockpit of an airplane, because you can get some really fine little things in there, streaks, and you can color in areas like that to give them some shine. So they're really useful for that purpose. But the reason I chose a mechanical pencil in the case that Nikki had asked me about is simply because it allowed me to do very precise, very tight placements. So there's no magic about this one versus this one versus this one in terms of the results, but rather it's just about, think of this as a very small brush, a medium-sized brush, and a very large brush. That's what these are, because this is a mechanical pencil with 0.5 millimeter HB lead. I've used this to do panel lining. It's great for that. On things with slightly wider panel lines and you want it to be really precise. Before I forget, one thing to remember, when you're putting on pencil lead, enamel thinners will eat it up, take it away. So keep that in mind if you're using anything with enamel thinners in it. They can also blend them a little bit, so you can play with that a little. But then this is just a regular old-fashioned pencil. We have a jar full of pens and pencils, and anytime I need one, I just grab it out of there. And it's the same kind of lead. I can do the same thing with it. It's just a little larger in terms of the tip, I guess you'd say. And then I have this. It's just a graphite stick. It's just one giant chunk of lead. It's got this, I guess, a plastic wrapping around it to kind of hold it together and protect your fingers from constantly getting the stuff stained. But it's just one giant chunk of graphite. And what I do, if I need it to be sharpened, I just shave it with a knife. I don't run it through a pencil sharpener all the time. Here's a very important tool to have when you're working with graphite. I use this, of course, to sharpen this. Sometimes I use it to sharpen this, but most of the time I just use I use the knife to slice back some of the plastic, reveal more of it, and I find that as I work, it tends to shape it like I want. because this is for really big application, because you can really get in here, and if you want to color in an area like that, you can do that, and then go in with one of the other sizes and refine it. And this can be smeared with your finger to reduce the effect. You can put stuff over it so that there's, it's shining through. You could sponge on some paint over that so that the shininess would come through, but the paint would still be there. There's a lot of things you can do with these. Another real useful way of putting them on is to grab something as a palette. Probably be better to use plastic or paper for this, but I just had some paper towel handy, and you just shave some off like that, and get you a little pile of graphite like that, and you can apply that. You can apply it with your finger, you can apply it with your brush. I like using this cheap sculpting tool, just hard rubber ends, and you can see on this one, you can see on the end of there that I've used this before for that purpose. But you just dip it in there, and the way this stuff really works is when you put it on, you can get some on there and apply the color, but where these things really work, where they really shine, is you can polish up that metal, or what should look like metal. You see how that just brings the shine right up? It's really grinding the pigments in, the graphite pigment, and just really, really bringing out the shine on that. And you can just make it pop. And at certain angles, it's just a dark, almost German gray. But then when you bring it more into the light, you can just see that it pops like that. I mean, that can be used for a lot of things. Instrument panels and all sorts of stuff where you want it to catch the light in a certain way and really just jump out at somebody with indicating wear and tear, but constant wear and tear. It works great on hinges where something is going to be opened and closed a lot. It's great on edges of doors where they might be open and closed a lot and scrape against something else. So it just has a lot of good application. Another thing that it's good for is, like I mentioned, chipping on like the interior. I used to use it for the interior of aircraft. And the way I did it there was I would use the mechanical pencil to do, light chipping like this. And once I had the chipping in place and all the other painting done and everything I wanted and things like that, I would hit it with a matte coat. When you put a matte coat over this, it completely kills the shine. But what you're left with is very fine, very petite, very precise little chips that are a German gray. They're basically, the color is, instead of it being shiny, it's just that color right there. That's what you see. And no matter how you turn it in the light, it doesn't catch the shine. So putting a matte coat over that will kill the shine, but retain the dark color. So yeah, there were a lot of times on aircraft. These three were my tools for 100% of the chipping that I did on aircraft. So it can be very, very useful for that. And just a brief mention, another one that's very useful, that's a type of pencil, it's a Prismacolor silver pencil. Completely different look, but as long as I'm talking about chipping. If you're wanting something that shows it going down to the bare metal, but there's no rust or anything like that, and you want it to be shiny and silvery looking, no matter what light it's in, these are great too. But anyway, that's kind of far too much blah, blah, blah about pencils.